Hello everyone, this is Gary Marr from Goodell Community College. This screen capture is for my CIS156 online Python class, fall 2019. In this screencast, I want to talk a little bit about Canvas, the syllabus, and some of the setup necessary to start programming with Python. So let's start off with Canvas first. If you go to the home page, there's a nice list that says Start Here, things to start with. Please review this, look it over. It's got some links and some resources that will be of value to you when you start submitting assignments, and even before then actually. So have a look at that, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I do have a lot of resources in the Files section of Canvas. Everything from sample assignments, question answers for some of the discussion questions in the back of the textbook, a bunch of other stuff too, and we'll hit this stuff as we get in it during the course. The course is broken down by modules. Their modules are basically divided by week, except for the first one. There's also one called Start Here, but they're divided by weeks to keep things organized. And you can either look at the course calendar or you can follow the modules, and that'll keep you up to date with all the assignments and tests that are going to be given. And announcements, I will make a number of announcements. Whenever there's something that I feel the class all needs to know, maybe somebody's asked a question, but I feel it's important enough to tell everybody, I'll put an announcement out there. I can also, if I want, send you all emails to your student accounts. And there could be a situation, something may be down or broken. I may decide to go to your student emails. But for the most part, I will try to use Canvas like I'm asking all of my students to use. Because if I use Canvas, all the information, documentation, etc. stays with the course when it's backed up. And that's a good thing from an audit trail standpoint. Alright, so if we go into the syllabus now, pretty much standard stuff. It's an online class. You guys should all know that. Canvas is the LMS we're using. It's a 3-credit class. I am on campus because I'm a full-time residential faculty. I was the department chair for the previous 7 years. Now I'm just back teaching again. I have an office on campus in building 01-126. My office hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 11, but I can always meet you by appointment. My class schedule, if you do a link to my webpage, my school webpage, you're going to find my class schedule as I have classes on Monday and Wednesday morning. I teach pretty much every day in the lunch hour or around then. And then I have Friday where I'm in and out, but you can always arrange a time where we could get together. If you're on campus for another class and you'd like to talk to me, review something, just give me a phone call or send me an email. Email is probably the preference, and we can arrange a time to get together. My office phone number is there. My Google phone number is there. My preference is email because that way I'll get it from wherever. Like most folks these days, I've got access to email in several different ways on the Internet of Things, so I can always get your email very quickly, whereas if it's a phone call, we're probably going to play phone tag. I would prefer you send your emails regarding the class to Canvas. If it's outside of class, maybe it's a question about courses you want to take in the future or something else, you can always reach me with my faculty email, but Canvas is probably preferred for this class. That's where I'm going to be looking first. If I see a Canvas email out there, I'm assuming it's a question on something related to class, and I get right on it. Other emails sometimes take a little bit longer. Format online, the dates are listed. You should be involved with Canvas on a daily basis, looking to see for emails or checking on assignments or taking tests and quizzes. The course I created for the district several years ago, and looks like it's 2012, several years ago. And it's used by all the campuses, and the main deliverables are listed here 1 through 8. We will work outside the scope of some of these deliverables because Python's changed. But for the most part, all these will be covered, plus some more information besides that. The textbook I've used for a number of years. You can use a used copy of it. There seems to be some confusion as to whether you have My IT Lab with this course. No, we don't use My IT Lab with this class. You only need the textbook. Get it new or used, your preference. Wherever you can find the best deal, keep it or go that way. I tend to like this book. I think Gaddis, at least when I've used his textbooks, both Python and also Java, we tend to look at things the same way. We tend to break it down the same way. And that's a good thing. And it's a nice companion for an online class because I can give you stuff in the form of videos or lecture notes. And I know it's going to dovetail fairly well with the textbook. A lot of our assignments will be coming from the textbook. Some of the questions will be coming from the textbook. So it's a good investment. Buy it used if you want to do. It's been out for now, I think, a couple years, this edition. And I've gotten at least 2 or 3 editions over the years and had very good luck with the textbook. You'll also need to download Python to your computer. Some operating systems have Python included. I believe Linux does. Apple, I think, does too. Windows has not. I don't think it is still there by default. But if you go to python.org, you can download a 64 or 32-bit version of Python for Windows. It's all free. Most of the stuff with Python is free. It was developed open source. It's supported very heavily by Microsoft and Google, among other vendors. It's a very popular language. It's growing very quickly. It's a language that doesn't have a lot of syntax. It seems to be very easy to construct. And you need to so what it does allows you to focus on a logic, which really where the rubber meets the road, where you're going to have to build the intelligence into that application and do what you want it to do. So it's very popular right now. The 2 IDEs I would recommend in integrated development environments are simply software that allow you to edit your code, debug your code, excuse me, test your code. Would be Thony or PyScripter. Thony is cross-platform. It'll work with Apple, Windows, or Linux. PyScripter is Windows only. They're both very good. I tend to probably go more towards PyScripter because I like the debugger better. But Thony's a very good product. We'll probably start with, well, I know we'll start with Thony, and you will get some screen captures on Thony and PyScripter as the course progresses. I would say, as far as a lot of the general requirements and course information, read this over, and if you have any questions, send me an email. I don't think there's much about this that's different than most of the other courses we've offered, and probably most of the courses you've taken, period. But look that over, and if there's any questions, let me know. There are 6 tests, what amounts to really 4 quizzes, a midterm and a final. The quizzes are multiple choice, true, false. The midterm and final are more essay, code investigation, code samples. You might have to give me a code snippet, which is a piece of a Python program, not a whole working program. You'll have 10 labs worth 10 points each. There are 5 discussion questions sprinkled throughout the course. They're in the modules. All of these are in the modules for when they're due. On the discussion questions, if you post your initial response, it's 3 points. If you post to one other person's response, it's 4 points. If you post to 2 other people's response, it's 5 points. Participation, you get 5 weeks for each week of participation. The way that's graded essentially is through something called reflection assignment. You'll find those in each module, and that means you'll send me what amounts to probably a summary email of the week telling me what you worked on, if there's any problems, what they are, if you have any questions for me, what they are. And what that does, it kind of keeps you engaged, and it makes me feel a little bit better about understanding how the class is going, how you're doing, and I can respond better to your questions and give you the kind of help you need to be successful. There's 505 total points, 90%, 100 is an A, and you can read this yourself. I don't like late work. Late exams are problematic because now we've got people who've taken the exam and someone else wants to take it, and I have to worry about people sharing their answers and stuff. So if you are going to be late on anything, I need an email. If you send me an email, we can work it out. If I do not get an email, you're going to get a 0 for that assignment. Much like a work environment, this is an occupational class, and if you're supposed to be at work, you're supposed to be in class. If you've got a test assigned, you've got to take it. If there's a problem, let me know, and we can work it out, I'm sure. Usually I'll let students withdraw from the class with W up until the last day of class. So you can, be involved in class. If you don't like the way it's going, if you're not going to be happy with the grade you're going to receive, you can withdraw and not have it hit your GPA. But of course, then you'd have to take the class over again. If you have any questions about those scenarios as we get into the class, just let me know. Expectations, you can read that over yourselves. The technology needed, basically access to any kind of PC. You could actually take this course on a cell phone, probably. But I suspect you'd have some eye issues by the time you finish the class. Obviously a PC, Mac, Linux, whatever would be the best for this class. If you don't have one yourself, you can always come on campus and use the ones in the high-tech center. The rest of this stuff is, again, just general information. I would say please read it over. If you have a disability, please need to see the DRS office. Work with them so they can let me know what kind of accommodation I need to make in this class. There's a new section, all the syllabi about harassment and stalking and those kinds of problems. Read that over. Let me know if you have any questions with that. Safety, academic honesty. If you cheat, you get a 0. Usually, if you cheat, there's 2 people involved. Someone who knew the answers and someone who's just trying to get away with something. You will both suffer the same consequence. I had a student 1 year trying to get into the honors program at ASU that didn't get there because they allowed someone else to talk them into giving them the answers on several labs. And the person who talked him into it didn't even bother to change their name on the lab itself. So it was a pretty easy catch. Do not cheat. Let's see. Web-based applications, let you read over that. Software usage, you can read over that. Tentative class schedules. I tend to, oops, we got an error right there. That should say question or quiz 1. This could change. It normally doesn't. If it changes, it's your benefit. If I want to take more time on a quiz or an assignment because I want to spend more time with students or in a lecture or a video with it, excuse me, I'll let you know. But this will always be done for your benefit. I'll never, change the time on something where it's going to, damage your capability of getting the best grade you can possibly get. But it could change. This is just a summary from calendar entries I've plugged in already concerning the assignments. You can look that over too. So look all of this over. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Back on the start page, you're going to see that there's a link there for the Python code you'll need to download to create Python programs on your personal computer. And there's also a link there to Thony, which will get you started on Apple, Linux, or Macintosh. There's no link for PyScript here, but you can also use Notepad++. You can use Microsoft Visual Code Studio. I forgot what the Apple product was. But there's a number of options you have there. Whatever you decide to use, that's fine. I'm sure that if you have a question, I can help you with it. But I typically use just a Windows environment. Your first assignment's a bio. Just let us know some information about you and why you're taking the class. You must submit that within the first 5 days of class, or I will drop you so that you get your money back, because the assumption is you're not interested in taking the class. If you have any other questions, please let me know. This class has worked out fairly well. I want to say this is probably, the 5th or 6th time at least that I've taught it online, and it's generally worked out fairly well for everybody. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you online.